Listen to me very carefully, my friend. Killing will not bring you peace. Peace was never an option.
Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this lovely individual sitting next to me is my wife, Laura. Yeah! You know what's awesome about this woman? She likes the same nerdy comic book stuff that I do, and we're both super excited for X-Men Apocalypse. Woo! Yeah! That's why we're starting now with our reading way too much into X-Men First Class, and then next week, X-Men Days of Future Past, just to get all X-Men pumped up. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so, you know, we're going to push back the final Matrix reading way too much into just a few weeks, just because it's X-Men season. I wasn't the hugest fan of the X-Men movies. Like, I liked X-Men
the
1.
old movies.
Yeah, the old movies.
Or, well, not old, early thousands.
Wow, that's old now. Crazy. I liked, the first X-Men. It was not my favorite.
Yeah, me too.
Second one I thought was good.
I really do. It's been so long since I've seen it because I wasn't a huge fan of that one.
Oh, okay. And then the third X-Men, I just did not like that one.
You know, knowing nothing about the comic books, I enjoyed parts of it. Like, I enjoyed some of the action sequences of it, but overall, I didn't like it either.
But see, I went into it not knowing anything about the comic books either, and I didn't know anything about, I guess, the several storylines I tried to cram into that one movie, but it felt like they tried to cram a whole bunch of stuff into that movie, and so, I don't know. I just didn't like that one at all. Then the Wolverine Origins was just a flat
that was very disappointing.
And I was so excited for that. So the thing that got me hooked back into X-Men was X-Men First Class. This movie right here that we're reading way too much into. I mean, everything was awesome. From the direction to the actors that they picked. Michael Fassbender.
Perfect Magneto.
Oh, what's the other guy's name? What is his name?
Charles.
James McAvoy. Yes!
Charles is his screen name.
Yeah, not his screen name, his character.
Professor X.
There
you know what I meant.
Right. Yes.
Jerk.
Anyway. So, I don't know, like there was so much about that movie that to me was just so right. It was a great ensemble cast. It was awesome the way they put it together. It was great the way they told the story. I felt like there was very few corny things. Overall, like, I enjoyed James McAvoy. I enjoyed Michael Fassbender. I enjoyed Jennifer Lawrence. This was the first movie I saw her in. She was awesome.
Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. It's not my favorite superhero movie, but I went into it with, like, a D rating expectations. So I was very, very pleasantly surprised when I saw it because great acting. I enjoyed the storyline. I know nothing about the comic book, so I have no idea if it screwed anything up or not, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I don't know if it screwed up a comic book storyline or not either, but I felt like it took the movie storyline and started to move it right back on the right track.
I agree.
One of the things that just kind of struck me as I was watching it the other night for this, it's like you're looking at what are you laughing at?
Sorry, it's because I don't know when to look at the camera. Okay, keep going.
So one of the things that was just awesome to me with this is as you're looking at all these characters, so each of these they got their own powers, they got their own abilities, they got their own gifts and their own stuff going on, right? In 1 Corinthians 13, it talks about the greatest of the gifts that we could be given is love. And, you know, Paul's like, if I spoke with the tongues of angels but don't have love, I'm just a clanging cymbal. And so when you look at Charles, you can just tell that this guy, he cares about the students. He loves everybody that's around him. He's willing to sacrifice to save them. And, you know, he's looking to grow them and invest in them and to help them control their abilities and their powers. But then you take a look at Magneto in this movie. What was very interesting is this guy was not ruled by love. This guy was ruled by vengeance. He was ruled by hatred. From the beginning of the movie, he's looking for the guy that tortured him in World War II.
Seeing as he killed his mother.
So you have Magneto totally driven by this hate. But what you find that's fascinating about him being driven by hate is it really destroys him. It destroyed the full potential that team of X-Men could have become. It destroyed him as a person. It's the very thing that drug him down that road in being an absolute opposition. Charles wants to protect mutants and people, and he wants there to be peace between the two. You have Magneto, who just wants to wipe out every human being and only cares about his kind. And what's just so fascinating about it is I think it really illustrates the difference between being ruled by love and being ruled by hate. How much hate and vengeance and unforgiveness is a poison, and it consumes and it destroys. But Charles having those gifts and leading his gifted, as they are motivated by love, then those gifts have more power to them because they have more power to bring about good. They have more power to repair. They have more power to bring healing. They have more power to do all these different things. So I thought this movie was a really good illustration of how hate is and unforgiveness is corrosive, but how being motivated by love actually brings about the real fulfillment.
What I have is actually really, really similar to it. Hatred is such a tricky thing that we can get trapped into. Hatred is just something that just pulls on you, and it just pulls you down more and more. Satan has a way of getting into us and just getting our mindset to focus on these negative things. It's kind of like when you have a bad experience at a store, you're 10 times more likely to tell people about it than if you had a good experience. So it's just, the bad is just so much easier to talk out and have it come out. And so Eric Magneto, he definitely had a bad experience. And so even though he started to get glimmers of hope, and even Charles mentioned it to him, it's like, I see hope, I see good in you. He still kept pulling on those hatred strings that he had in his heart for Sebastian Shaw. Now, Charles, on the other hand, he just had this love and this compassion for everyone. He had things happen to him that weren't like as good as they could have been, but he chose to choose the better. Like when in the compound, when all the young ones were in there, the younger X-Men, and Darwin ended up getting killed, and they come back and find out that Darwin was killed. He could have just gone on to a rage, but instead he chose to love them, to teach them, to just get them to learn how to use their abilities that they have and just move forward. And that's kind of like what Christ does for us. He wants to work on our abilities that we have that can just further who we are in him and just show the love that we have inside of us. It's about love and not hatred. Hatred will just pull us down and make us worse, and love will just keep us going strong.
Hatred and unforgiveness is a poison, and
it
all
is.
it does is pull down. Whereas love and forgiveness is the thing that made them heroes.
Yes.
I think in the end, I'm going to give this movie 4 stars because, you know, obviously we own it on Blu-ray.
Yes.
And it's something that I can go back and rewatch more than once, and I did it the other day and still greatly enjoyed it. I mean, like kind of you said, it's not like the best movie that's out there, but it's a good one. So I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars.
I'm a little more critical than he is.
Oh my goodness.
Just in most things, unfortunately. And so I'm 3.5 stars out of 5. Mainly, I mean, I really enjoyed it. And I kind of look at the scale. 1, hated it. 2, didn't like it. 3, liked it. 4, loved it. And I'm somewhere in between I liked it and I loved it because it's not something I want to go back to and watch all the time. But every once in a while, popping it in, it's a nice movie just to have on in the background or to just watch kind of on a casual day.
You have really thought through that star scale, haven't you?
Well, that's kind of what Netflix says.
She's going on the Netflix star scale.
They use 5 stars, and then 4 has loved it, and I'm not sure what 5 is.
I don't eat. It's like
Maybe 5 is
really
loved it.
loved it. If you saw X-Men First Class, how many stars would you give this movie? Be sure to let us know in the comments. Say a wonderful hello to my wife. So nice of her to join the world of Durbania and read way too much into a movie. I'm super excited.
It's been fun.
Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
Thank you so much for checking out Durbania.
Have a great night. Oh.
Woo!